So today, on my personal Toe Talk, here's what I have to say. Currently, it is May 12th. We are in the midst of probably the slowest I've ever seen it. I've dispatched and I've driven for somebody else, and now I'm self-employed. This is by far the slowest I've ever seen it. I actually know a few companies that are closing. Thankfully, we are very blessed. We have, we were able to afford to keep going. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're making bank right now. But we are getting by, and I am thankful for that. We have been very blessed. I'm thankful that, God has provided vision for myself, my wife, our trucks, and our family, and, it's scary right now. Let's just call it what it is. It's a little scary. As slow as it's been, bills are coming, and you're starting to count your beans, and it's, the beans aren't adding up. So it's been interesting. Yesterday, we were in a sermon. We were listening to a sermon, and I haven't felt called out in a while, but it was definitely a sermon that I need to hear. From, I believe it's 2819 is the name of the church. I know his first name, don't know his last. It's Philip something. I'm sorry, Philip. But man, it was a message speaking to me, and to be quite honest, speaking to a few other guys I know that own towing companies, that, are small business owners, more realistically, parents, and, people just trying to get by, and how, we get nervous. The bills come around, things get a little tight, we get a little nervous. And how if you could just put that dependency and that worry, set it aside and give it to God, because there's no point. Worrying's not going to, and Jesus says, it's a Sermon on the Mount, Jesus is talking, and Jesus says something along the lines of, please don't quote me, go read it, it's in Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 6, and then there's a verse, so read Matthew 6, it's a Sermon on the Mount. But Jesus says something to the liking of, you aren't going to add any more years to your life by worrying. And that's kind of where I've been, where I'm laying up in bed at night, looking at our bank account, refreshing our emails, looking for work, and, genuinely just worried. It's doing me no good. I have white hairs all of a sudden. I haven't had white hairs. I just turned 33 a week ago, and I have white hairs. I'm not into it. It's not a bad look. No offense to people with white hairs. But I wasn't prepared for the white hairs. So I got those now, and I think it's solely, from age, but the stress that I've put on myself, and I'm not doing myself any good by stressing out about these things. So if you've watched this whole video at this point, I appreciate you sticking around. I hope you, if you didn't know, you now know that I'm a believer in Christ. And it is the redemption that I felt sitting there listening to that sermon is unreal. One, called out. So very called out. Just, I'm solely focused on that message. And today's, a day where I get to put it into exercise, because this morning I'm sitting at home and there's no work. And I keep repeating to myself, I'm not going to worry, I'm giving it to you, God. I'm not going to worry, I'm giving it to you, God. And, in this situation, we are blessed and fortunate that we got work today. But there are days last week where there's just no work. And, instead of spending my day sitting on the couch worrying and being caught up in this moment, instead of giving God glory and honor and being thankful of the fact that, our bills are paid and we do have a house to be in today, our truck payment's been made, our insurance is paid, and I can sit here with my wife and, we can watch a show or read, we have that option that, we have been blessed with today. So why am I stressed about tomorrow? What good is it doing me? And, it's, I don't know. We're going to leave the link for that sermon. If you're out there and you're stressing about money and you're stressing about, the doctor's appointment or where the food's coming from or whatever, we're going to put that sermon in the link, because that is, I had 2 thumbs up, but I'm driving. I got to pay attention to the road. So, but it is a good sermon. It is. And I mean, even if you're not a believer, in Christ. Even if you're not a believer in Christ, it's still a good sermon from the perspective of worrying about your problems does not fix the problem. The problem's still there. Stressing about the problem only causes you more harm. I'm not saying just walk around carefree and whatnot, but you can be concerned and you can rationalize the issue and try and come up with, plans and, ways to work things out, budgeting and whatnot, but just sitting there and worrying. And I'll be honest, it's, oh man, there's a proper word. Oh man, there's a word for it, but you freeze up. You're so caught up in the worry that you're not doing anything else. And that's kind of where I've been at, is I'm not really doing anything else but worrying. And I'm tired of saying the word, to be honest. And so giving it breath and life when I'm trying to sleep and whatnot has just done me no good. And so I'm coming on here. If this gets posted, and if it doesn't, then my wife will see it and I think she'll appreciate that I actually learned something. But if it does get posted, then I hope that God blesses you today. And if it's, today, if you woke up, then the day is already blessed. And I know that's a terrible way of looking at it. For some people, we just assume that we're going to wake up. But man, how many people don't wake up the next day? And what a blessing it is to wake up. And if you're here in Washington right now and you have this weather, man, am I thankful for this weather. It's going to rain in the next day or two, but boy, do I like being outside in this kind of weather. I'm very thankful for this. So I think instead of spending all that time locked up in your fears and anxiety and frustrations with what's not going your way, if we can take a moment to just be appreciative of the things that we have, whether it's the food, the shelter, the relationship that you're in with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friendships, your relationship with your parents or your parent, the dogs and cats that we have, the pets that God's given us to have that close comfort with. I mean, if you really stop and take a step back, the amount of blessings that we have and we just take for granted every day is wild. And we spend so much time focusing on the things that we have literally no control over. And we give it this breath and this life, and it becomes this monster. And we get so wrapped up in it. I get so wrapped up in it. And so after all this being said, I'm very grateful. If there's one thing Frank Sewing could say, and I could say as one of the proud employees of Frank Sewing, is I am extremely grateful for my job, my wife, my salvation. It's what a blessed day to be alive. I hope that today's a blessed day for you, and be kind.